So Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Arsenal 1. Another red card, Kenny. Gabriel Martinelli, a hard-fought victory.
First and foremost,
oh, mate.
sorry to cut you. First and foremost, stop deluding yourself, Arsenal fans. It was a sending off, all right? You know, and he was a pork chop. He committed two bookable offences right in succession. And if you want to read the FA rules, don't waste your time, because I've seen players commit two bookable offences. I've seen it many times where a player will commit a bookable offence, get a yellow card, and then get in a referee's face in the same instant and gets a second yellow card and they're off. All right, so don't pretend you haven't seen it and that we're being victimised. We weren't victimised. It was a sending off, first and foremost. And have the same energy for Martinelli that you would have had for Xhaka, because I know a lot of us people don't rate Xhaka, but let's do a bit of diversity training and equal opportunities, because Martinelli could have cost us the game. So let's have some energy there, because I tell you, you've got a lot of energy to slag off Lacazette for missing that chance. But your golden boy Martinelli nearly cost us the game.
Yeah, he did. He made the game interesting, because the game before that point was boring.
It was one of the worst games I've ever seen. Lee, one thing the good things is that we did is that we defended and showed a red guard. We got the goal when we needed to. Wolves didn't show us anything of any quality. They had a lot of possession, didn't hurt us. But on that, if any of those two teams get in the top four or get in the Champions League, that would be a very, very poor representation of English football, because that game was embarrassing. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen. I'm glad we won, and I'll take the points all day long. But if you want me to celebrate that performance, I'll celebrate the win, because 3 points is 3 points. But that's poor. Both teams were poor. We were poor. You know, it's funny.
It was literally two kind of low down-ish. I know we've moved up to fifth with that, but it was two teams that don't score many goals. I think there's only two teams that have scored less than Wolves this season, but they've got only Man City have got a better defence.
And that's the thing. Wolves played into their hands, because they're so predictable the way they played, in terms of, like, they didn't have that kind of explosive pace that they normally
Neto. They missed Neto badly, or Adama.
Neto as well. Podence was a bit predictable. I thought that, Jimenez is still finding his way.
The kid that came off the bench, he looked lively when he came on. I've never seen Tierney get destroyed like that, mate. He ripped Tierney a new one when he came on.
I think the sending off of Martinelli kind of helped our tactics. It was like Liverpool again. If you watch the Liverpool game about, like a month ago, then when we went down to 10 men, we 1-0 up with about 25 minutes to go. It's obvious what our tactics are going to be. Our tactics are going to be, look, get Holding in the box, let them have as much possession as we want, do the token pressing, but any crosses they're coming in, we've got 3 centre halves, head it out. Even if they get us on the overload, we had a lot of confidence in our goalkeeper, for either catch the ball, and our defenders were, like giants were giants. And, our best player of the day for me was our goalkeeper, because that shot from Saiz, say he doesn't react like that, that ball goes in the net, then what will happen is that, that would have been a rear guard action. We'd be, struggling holding on to the game. So that was a very, very crucial save. And also his handling, his confidence. Again, that's the good things. But once again, our goalkeeper becomes our man in the match. And, when you watch football and you look at the top teams, you shouldn't have to always rely on your goalkeeper to get to get yourself out of trouble, especially when, first and foremost, we were very indisciplined. Gabriel could have got sent off, Partey could have got sent off, Xhaka could have got sent off. Yeah. So to achieve all of that and get the win, that is kudos, but we've got to be much better. And the reason why I say got much better is because, the downside is Martinelli has let Smith Rowe back into the team, because if Smith Rowe has a good game against Brentford, Martinelli might struggle for his pace. So that that's
what do you make of Pepe not getting any minutes again tonight? He brought Eddie on, and I thought the game when we sat back, I thought the game was crying out for Pepe to come on because he can stretch teams.
I think with Mick Arteta, as soon as we got a player sent off, you know, he for some reason he brought Eddie Nketiah to hold the ball up when Eddie Nketiah can't hold the ball up. You're right. If he brought on Pepe, then what Pepe would have done is that he would have had quick feet, had a turn of pace, and then he would have you know, kind of given us a bit of respite because Smith Rowe couldn't do that. Smith Rowe, you know, is very quick to run. He hasn't got the skill of Pepe. You know, Pepe's kind of our Chrissy Waddle, you know, from back in the day, and we could have done with Pepe coming on. So tactically, that didn't work. But in terms of like bringing on the Rob Holding, knowing full well that Wolves are going to, you know, put in a mixer, I think that's where probably Arteta gets it right. But let me just read you something.
Yeah, go on, mate.
I was going to celebrate this win because it's an Arsenal win, but this brought me down to earth because this is the second thing that brought me down to earth, because the first thing that brought me down to earth is the quality, but I'll get to that. This is from a Wolves player. We saw the way Arsenal celebrated the win, and that shows the level we are. I didn't see how Arsenal celebrate like this in the past 10 years. It's like they won the league. Says it all, doesn't it?
Ruben Neves ain't getting his move to Arsenal in the summer then.
it says it all, that, you know, the kind of quality of, you know, of player that we have at the club, and the kind of quality of you know, like the manager and everything concerning that. Because, you know, 10 years ago we go to Wolves and thrash them.
Not even 10 years. They were in League Two with us.
That's a hard-fought win to go and win the league, and it shows how much our standards have dropped. That we're relying on the top four. We're relying on you know, Wolves and treating the Wolves like a 6-pointer. And you know, this is a Wolves side that, let's face it, wasn't the same team that, you know, went to Man United and dominated the game. You know, they're very, very average. But let's face it, we're average as well.
Neto's injured. Noah Dama, Neto injured. Martinelli's not played. He was injured. You know, they didn't have Ait Muri. He was on the bench. Obviously, he wasn't fit enough to start. Yeah, but they've scored 19 goals this season, mate.
I know. Yeah. They're there for the taking. And it just shows, you know, the mentality of our manager, that, you know, he goes there, he treats it like a 6-pointer, and he you know, he goes on like we've won the league. We've got to be much better than this, because the way they're talking about the way we played, it wasn't the game I watched. You got some people on social media saying, if we had an elite striker, oh, this team moves, it bangs. Really? We didn't play that well.
How many chances did we create apart from the Lacazette one-on-one and the goal? What else did we do?
In terms of creativity, we weren't great. We spent a lot of time without the ball, but you know what? Credit is you got to give credit where it's due. But if you're asking me, am I impressed with the overall quality of the squad? No. Am I overly impressed about the quality of the player we have at the club? No, because what that showed me is how depressing things have got at Arsenal. You think about it. We used to get angry about 5 or 6 years ago with the fact we didn't never challenge for the league, that top four was a trophy, but we had good players, really good players, and even before that, when we should have won the league in 2008, and even a couple of years afterwards, we had really good players. Now, the caliber of player we've got is just average.
It wasn't just the caliber of player back then, it was the style of play. Yeah, because we were playing great football at times, yeah. And our weakness was the fact that Wenger couldn't fix the defense properly. But our attack was always fluid.
Yeah, you know what's happening?
We barely score and barely create.
This geezer here, all he's done is he's made us more organised, but at an expense.
He's dropped us back 20 yards down the pitch so we don't attack anymore.
Yeah. But, so basically, if you don't have that sort of je ne sais quoi in midfield, or you don't have that sort of trickery down the right, then we're gonna. That's easy for us. And my biggest worry is Liverpool have je ne sais quoi, Chelsea have a je ne sais quoi. You know, Man United, if they get it right, and if they play Pogba and Fanash, they got a je ne sais quoi. Only that they can't finish teams off. And I think if we are going to get in this top four, which is, let's face it, third loser, we've got to play a lot better than this. But you know, if you look at the end of the season, we get top 4. It's probably going to be a result like this. It's probably going to we're going to make a difference. But I just really am concerned about our lack of goal scorers in the team, because the goal we scored was scrappy. We didn't create anything afterwards, and the chance we had was we didn't put away.
The chance we had, let's be real here, right? Our fans have been on Aubameyang's case about missing sitters, this and that, right? Only Smith Rowe scored more goals than him this season in all comps at Arsenal, right? Lacazette tonight, I knew he weren't going to score.
So did I.
I knew he weren't going to score, and then
he was offside. He the first thing you should do mentally, right? The first thing you do, right? You don't worry about whether you're onside or not. You just go there,
just go and put the ball in the back of the
net, and worry afterwards. You know, and then you see him afterwards when he's missed a chance. He's hoping and thinking, "Oh, I hope."
Put the flag up. Put the flag up. Put the flag up.
And he didn't. It was a sitter.
And if you go back to the Burnley game before that, the last game we played, he missed a sitter from 6 yards out. But because it's Lacazette and he works hard, well, let me tell you something. Yeah, he didn't work hard tonight, and that'll come in player ratings. I'm sure he was shocking, mate. Yeah, I was doing my watch along. He was walking around that football pitch at times.
Yeah, there's going to be a few players going to fall in that category because you know, people are going to want us to jump up and down and say, well, sometimes you guys say you don't have to play well to win. And you know, in terms of like, you know, the logic, they are right, but that's only if we get to the end of the season. And this 3 points.
For me, I know it's different with you, like, because you're thinking, if we get Champions League, we can maybe do
no. For the club, and I suppose for the club, because they haven't been it for a long time, they are going to see success. But for us, it's
the league.
It's a poor side. We're still seeing a poor side, and all we're gonna get if we do get top 4 is that we're gonna have to light a little bit of hope that we might get better players. But we know this is Arsenal.
Yeah, and then we'll be the whipping boys in the Champions League anyway, mate.
We know that won't happen because the Kroenkes are going to bank this money, and then all of a sudden, after they bank the money, they're going to say that they're just going to go back to getting what I consider to be Premiership-style players, but not world-class players to get us challenging. And I think that's why I understand why yourself, Jez, and a lot of people are fearful of us getting the Champions League because we're going to get pumped.
Mate, we've done it 22 years with Wenger and never won it. And we had the likes of Henry, Vieira, Fabregas, and we never won it with him. And he's a better manager than Arteta would ever be in his life. And we've got better players back then, than we're ever going to get back at this football club, mate.
And that's scary. That's really, really scary. The fact that, you know, despite the fact we win, the caliber of play was just depressed me. Everything depressed me about is to start the caliber of the manager, caliber of play, and of player, and the stand, and the actual what entertainment value was crap.
100%.
But we won.
Listen, Kenny, we'll assess the players in a short while. We've got 6 more fan cams to do.
All right, so get on these fan cams. I'm ready and waiting.
Top man, Arteta out.
Of course, all day long. He's crap.